Even though I can't remember somebody's name last night, I do remember every detail of what happened at Pearl Harbor.
Now 94, Archie Kelley was only 23, a new graduate at the Naval Academy, when he requested assignment aboard the USS West Virginia in Oahu, where he spent a carefree summer in the tropics. He spent the night before the attack on Pearl Harbor with his uncle Bruce, the senior watch officer of the Arizona. Both were supposed to report for duty first thing in the morning. Minutes before Kelley's shift started, came the alert over the loudspeakers.
Man your battle stations. This is no bleep. And he used a very dirty word there, but it was the ideal word to let everyone in the crew know that this was the real thing.
He snapped into action, not even pausing to put on his shoes, and was first to his station on the lowest deck of the ship.
While I was running to my battle station, I felt the first torpedo hit the ship. And it shook the ship like a small toy boat. It was incredible.
By that time, the deck above them was already flooded with 3 feet of water and oil.
As a young, eager beaver who had just graduated from the Naval Academy, I kept saying to myself, almost with delight, this is what I was trained for.
After the first 3 of 6 torpedoes hit the port side, Kelley and his commander made the necessary call to seal the watertight doors and hatches.
The most vivid thing, I think, was the horror of having to trap 4 men who were trying to get in our compartment, which was flooding, and hold the door shut against them while they were screaming.
Kelley had to stay focused to save the men who could still be saved.
My boss and I were the busy people on the ship because we were counter-flooding the ship to prevent it rolling over. The way we found out later the Oklahoma did, trapping 600 men.
He knew it was only time before their battleship went down, so they scrambled to find a way out through a narrow passage.
We escaped one by one up that tube. It was about an 80-foot climb, and slipping on steel rungs with oil all over them.
When they finally surfaced, their first sight at what was really happening in the rest of the harbor.
There were flames throughout Pearl Harbor, and oil in the water and flames coming up from the oil. And I looked aft, I could see that the Arizona was flaming several hundred feet high, and I said to myself, goodbye, Uncle Bruce.
But in one of those odd turns of fate and circumstance you often hear of in tragedies like this, Uncle Bruce did not die that day.
He had called the first lieutenant of the Arizona, who was a bachelor, and swapped duties with him. So Bruce regretted that for the rest of his life because the first lieutenant was killed.
The survivor guilt also haunts Kelley.
Just last night, my daughter Sharon said, do you realize, Daddy, if you had been killed at Pearl Harbor, that not only would I not be here, but your great-grandchildren and grandchildren would be here also, and I'd never thought of that. What you see here...
Every year, he shares his story with anyone who'll listen, lest we never forget.
Like many men who have been in combat, including General Eisenhower, one of our greatest generals, the thing I take away from Pearl Harbor is we must do everything we can to avoid future wars.
Nicole Kreitz, CBS 5 News.